Algeria's Army Chief Lieutenant General Ahmed Gaid Salah is demanding the transitional authorities to organize presidential elections before the end of the year. He made the announcement on Monday, saying the date of the long-delayed election should be announced by mid-September. His comments appeared to be addressed to the interim leader, Abdelkader Bensalah, who, in line with Algeria's electoral law, must issue a decree to gather the electoral college 90 days before polls can take place. And if this is done, it means that the polls should take place around mid-December this year.
Oui, et si certains ont salué cette annonce,
Well, some have welcomed this announcement, which on paper should help to break the country's political deadlock. This is not the case on the street. Gaid Salah has turned a deaf ear to the demands of some Algerians, calling for the amendments of the constitution before any election. As a result, many students have taken to the streets again to demand, and I quote, a civil status and not generals. Our correspondent in Algeria, Ahmed, joins us with more on this. Tariq, good to have you on the program this morning.
Bonjour. Bonjour Tariq. Alors, on l'a dit.
Right, Algeria Army Chief General Gaid Salah recommended to the acting president that he convenes the electoral body on 15 September to allow a presidential election to be held before the end of the year. Is Abdelkader Bensalah likely to toe this line, in your opinion?
Suivra-t-il cette recommandation selon vous?
Alors, le pouvoir réel étant entre les mains de l'état-major de l'armée depuis la démission d'Abdelkader.
Since the real power has been in the hands of the Army General Staff following the resignation of Abdelkader Bouteflika, I should say, it is highly likely that Bensalah will sign the decree convening the electorate on a day set by General Gaid Salah. For several weeks now, he has been calling for a presidential election to be held as soon as possible, precisely before the end of 2019. If the confirmation comes in by 15 September, the voting will likely be held on 12 December. A quick reminder here, the first election was scheduled to take place on 18th April, and that would have permitted Abdelaziz Bouteflika to run for a fifth term, but that never saw the light of day. The second was scheduled for 4 July. That was also cancelled due to the lack of candidates.
And Tariq, do you think that the conditions for holding this election will be met before the year ends?
Well, the situation is very complex. The main mission of the interim head of state is to organize a presidential election. He failed the 4 July deadline and therefore decided to launch an inclusive dialogue process in which some authorities refused to participate. It merely delegated the conduct of this dialogue to a body headed by Karim Yunus, former president of the National Assembly. But the initiative was rejected by the popular movement and part of the political class, who considered that the process was playing into the hands of the military and much will not be achieved.
The
conditions for free and fair elections have not been met yet, although the Karim Yunus Forum has proposed a draft document to amend the electoral code and the law on the Election Supervision Commission. On the other hand, none of the prerequisites for holding this dialogue have been taken into consideration by the government. Therefore, there has been no opening of the political and media fields.
Alors, comment est-ce que cette annonce a été reçue par la classe politique et surtout...
So how about the reactions from the political class? What can you tell us about that? Especially the popular movement.
Pour une partie de la classe politique, la suggestion du chef d'état-major de l'armée sonne
For the part of the political class, the suggestion of the chief of the army staff sounds like an order addressed to Abdelkader Bensalah. As for the popular movement, it rejects the holding of the election during Tuesday's student march, saying the country's current situation of protests and instability doesn't make it the right time. The messages of rejection may even sound louder perhaps tomorrow, Friday, during the National Working Day. But the fact remains, the rest of the year will be very tense because of a political crisis combined with an economic crisis.
Thank
you very much for your time this morning and the insight you have given us. Thank you. Tariq Hafid.